Coronavirus is wreaking havoc in China. Are you and your family ready if it comes to your area?
Bruce Forster commented on a recent video that we posted. He said he loves our channel and he thinks that our subscribers might be interested in our take on the coronavirus outbreak. And so John and I decided we'd sit down and make a special video just for you on exactly what we think about it. We like to start our investigation through the original sources, which included the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, to get their update on exactly what is happening. On their website, they explain that coronaviruses are a large family of viruses, some causing illness in people and others that circulate among animals, including camels, cats, and bats. Rarely, animal coronaviruses can evolve and infect people and then spread between people, such as has been seen with MERS and SARS. Early on, many of the patients in the outbreak in Wuhan, China, reportedly had some link to a large seafood and animal market, suggesting animal-to-person spread. However, a growing number of patients reportedly have not had exposure to animal markets, suggesting person-to-person spread is occurring. At this time, it is unclear how easily or sustainably this virus is spreading between people. To sum it up, they're doing the best they can with all of this early information, but they don't have quite enough information to know exactly what we're dealing with. There are some questions still surrounding the origin of exactly how this started, and that is not a topic for this video.
The reality is the coronavirus is with us for whatever reason, and we need to take steps to make sure that we can protect ourselves and our families. So am I at risk? That's the question each one of us needs to ask, and each of our situations will be a little different. In the area that we live, there are no reported cases of coronavirus. However, we don't know how that will change in the days and weeks to come.
I clipped this headline from the Washington Post just a few minutes ago, but this is the third time that I've had to clip it because every time it changes and it updates. So we are really seeing a lot of dramatic increase in this. There's 15 more lives in China, and the first 3 cases have been reported in Europe and 2 cases confirmed in the United States. It was interesting in this article, though, workers in China are racing to build a 1,000-bed hospital to treat the victims of the disease. It really is a huge problem there.
By the time you are looking at this video, I'm sure things will have changed again.
Absolutely. Right now, the CDC really isn't clear on how easily the virus spreads. They think it spreads from person to person, similar to MERS and SARS, through respiratory droplets that are produced when an infected person coughs or sneezes, similar to how influenza or other respiratory pathogens are spread. The CDC says there's no vaccine currently available, and the best way to prevent infection is to avoid being exposed to this virus. That's your number one priority. Stay away from this virus. Some of the ways you may be able to do that is make sure that you're washing your hands often with soap and water. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth when your hands aren't washed. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. And stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue and then throw the tissue in the trash. That tissue is an infectious material, and really you need to make sure that you're very carefully disposing of those. And make sure that you clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. It's all just good regular sanitary practices, but whenever you have an active virus like this, it's really important that you become really hypervigilant.
Are you ready to self-quarantine?
Because remember, the only way that you can ensure that you and your family won't get sick is to stay away from this virus completely.
History has shown us that quarantining, such as they're doing in China right now, isn't really that effective. It may slow down the spread of the virus, but ultimately it doesn't stop it. Your best defense is to self-quarantine, to take your family away from it and protect them that way. Which means you have to stock up on supplies. Right now, while things are mild, while there's no serious issues, is the time that you should be stocking up on what you need.
Because one trip to the grocery store can expose you, and then you bring it home to your entire family.
Stock up on shelf-stable foods. Now, we always encourage you to have a 3-month supply of foods that you eat every day. This is really no different, but if you have these foods available, you can take care of your family without having to go out and potentially be exposed.
When you're stocking up, make sure that you include drinking water so that you have some good, safe, reliable water in the event that something happens to the water that you're able to get out of your home faucet.
Personal protection is another important aspect that you need to address, making sure that you have things like masks and goggles to protect yourselves.
And make sure if someone is ill or showing any signs, you put that mask on them to help contain that disease. According to the CDC, coronavirus has mild to severe respiratory illness with symptoms of fever, cough, and shortness of breath. Symptoms can appear as few as 2 days or as long as 14 days after exposure. So that's just a little bit scary. But we need to be prepared with whatever it takes to manage a fever and a cough and your shortness of breath at home. Because going to a hospital or a doctor's office with thousands of infected people could be very dangerous. Stock up on over-the-counter medications. We have a really good post about your prepper home pharmacy. If you click the card in the corner, we'll direct you to that post, and there's a list of some really great ideas of different things that you should purchase that you can just buy over the counter and stock at home, which will prevent you from having to take a last-minute trip to the grocery store or the pharmacy to get a medication that you need to take care of a loved one. Dehydration is a major contributor to the deaths that are caused by influenza or similar illnesses. It's so important to make sure that you have hydration supplies. We wrote a post on how to prepare for a pandemic that has some hydration solution recipes in it, and we would really encourage you to look at that post. Click the card in the corner and we will direct you to that post, or look in the description for a link to that post. It has some really valuable information that can help you prepare and survive through some of these events. When you're dealing with illnesses, you go through a lot more sanitation supplies such as Kleenex and toilet paper, and you need soaps and all those good kind of things. So make sure when you're stocking up that you pay close attention to those sanitation supplies. And there's many herbal remedies or vitamins that you might want to consider stocking up on. Vitamin C is a big one that we stock up on our house because we find that to be very helpful.
And make sure that you have good medical reference books. You may not have the ability to get out to a doctor, or it may be unwise to try and do so. Having good reference books will provide you with a wealth of information.
And this is a time when you need to disinfect everything all the time. Normally, I let bugs live at my house and we all just coexist nicely together. But this is a time when we just can't have any surfaces that are not disinfected. And that requires a lot of supplies.
And in an extreme case, you need to be prepared to live without utilities.
We hope this doesn't happen, to just add insult to injury, but it is a possibility. When you have sickness that is rampant, then suddenly you have all of these utility workers that are no longer able to go to the work and function in their normal capacity. So who knows what can happen? Just be prepared.
And be prepared for civil unrest. Certainly not something that we like to think about, but certainly a possibility in these kinds of scenarios. And one that we feel passionate about is preparing to share with others. We are all in this together. We believe strongly in community and being able to help and share with each other to get us through hard times.
Sharing with others during a time when there is this virus out there that any contact with another person can make you ill and put you in a similar situation can be very scary. But if you are creative, there are ways that you would be able to share with others and not put your family at risk. I could take a pot of soup over to my neighbor's, put it on the doorstep, never see anyone, never touch their door handle, never do anything like that. And yet that pot of soup or that loaf of bread might make all the difference for their family. We are all in this together. Be prepared to help each other out.
At this point, it's not time to panic. It's probably never time to panic, but it is time to be prepared and to watch for updates and take the actions you need to make sure that you can take care of yourself and your family.
So Bruce, there you have it. That's our take on what's happening with the coronavirus and what we should do about it.
We invite you to Google the Provident Prepper, Prepare Now to Survive a Pandemic. This was a post that we wrote to commemorate the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic.
You will really want to go to this post. It has everything that you need to know about surviving a pandemic, an influenza outbreak, and everything from hydration solutions to the supplies that you should stock up on to what to watch out for. We really put a lot of work into that post, and it could be very beneficial right now.
Also, check out our YouTube channel, Prepare for a Pandemic, and also Prepper Home Pharmacy. It is too early to know how this is going to play out, how serious it will be, how far it will spread, and it's certainly not a time to panic. But it is an opportunity for you and your family to determine how prepared you are for this or another similar situation. And now for the question of the day. What are you and your family doing so that you will be prepared for coronavirus or whatever may come? Comment below, and thanks for being part of the solution.